dream of the snow enthusiast is to find that location that is blessed by the snow gods, savouring the powder perfection and riding untouched gems, finding a town with a sense of community, incorporating a blend of locals and foreigners where respect is the ultimate gift. Perhaps as the powder Mecca of Honshu, the uniquely Japanese Myoko Kogen could be the diamond in the sky.
So here we are at the next little town on our journey. We're in Myoko.
Yeah, conditions aren't the best today, mate.
I'm not thinking of clamping in on the bindings and going boarding. How about a coffee?
Mate, I definitely need to warm up.
Let's go.
Let's go.
As we walked the main street of Myoko, we came across the very inviting Full Circle Snow Surf Cafe. Coffee time it was.
So Ted,
Hey.
welcome to SnowChef.
Thanks, mate. Pleasure.
Standing outside your coffee shop here, Full Circle.
That's right.
We came down to grab a coffee and I've had the pleasure of meeting you.
Thank you, yeah. Good
Now
morning
tell
to
me
you.
a little bit about your story. How did you come to be in Japan?
Right. Japan was about 4 years ago. I just came as a backpacker on a working holiday visa and taught some English for a while.
Yeah.
And then travelled a bit, went back to Australia a couple of times and back to Japan and back to Australia. But ultimately, I've landed here. Been here for about 15 years on and off now, I'd say, in Japan. Yeah, I love it here. Full Circle started a lot more recently than that. It was only 3 years ago. And it was via a friend of mine who has bought a lodge up the road. And I was doing some translation work for him.
Yep.
So I do a little bit of help people in town when they come into town sometimes and help them out. At the same time as he was looking for properties, I was sort of asking questions, and this building had been abandoned for about 15 years.
Oh wow.
And people had come and seen it, but it was really, really bad state of disrepair and full of rubbish. But I took on the challenge and purchased it and started renovating, gutting and carrying on 3 years ago. So it's currently our end of our third season nearly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going really well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you, I guess with your food and your beverage, do you try to stay local?
Absolutely, 100%. So all our food sourced locally. You can't really go and chase things that are exported out from anywhere. But and the produce here is, although it's winter, they still have quite a bit of fresh stuff. So 80% of our whiskies are Japanese, from the high-end hibiki stuff right down to your Nikka. And our craft beers are 100% Japanese craft beer. So we've got, I think, 7 makers and about 16 different types of craft beer. And we sell local Sapporo and Kirin on tap.
Yeah.
So what comes out of the shop, I would say, is you wouldn't call it exactly 100%, but it's getting really close. Moss snow sticks included.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to support the locals here, man. They've accepted me into the town, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's important to create relationships with people and take advantage of their hospitality and in kind give them business,
So Full Circle's obviously the coffee.
Yeah.
But what else happens here?
Well, we run moss snow sticks through here. You can do rentals from us. You can then buy them if you really like them. It's interesting because the name of the shop, Full Circle, has got a good background to it, in that the first time that the moss snow sticks came and tested their prototypes back in 1971 was actually at Onsen Resort, which is directly behind us here.
Oh, okay.
So 1971, and they've kept all those boards, and obviously now we've got last year's quiver here hanging in the walls inside.
So moss is core Japan, Shiba, and core Myoko, yeah?
The moss originally came from the Shonan area.
Oh, okay.
So it's a surfing-based philosophy. So Tanuma-san, who owns and was the founder, he was a surfer and wanted to bring that idea of riding the wave onto the mountain. So everything that he's done since the beginning has been based on getting the sensation of surfing on the mountain. So Moss is actually based down near the beach, funnily enough. So every single person that works for Moss Snow Stick surfs as well.
Yeah.
You have to surf, otherwise they won't employ you.
So do you get to ride the Moss
ride
surf?
a lot. I ride them a lot.
Yeah. What do you love about them?
Big, wide, just very floaty, very rippable, depending on what length. So we go from 140 to 175s, 180s, big long things, or really short things. So doesn't matter what the snow's doing, there's something you can pull off the wall and go out and just get into it. Really nice on powder days. And the snow here is amazing, amazing. So you've got to have the correct equipment, I think. Otherwise you might suffer if you're trying to get out there on a 20 and people are getting stuck and we go flying past them doing 20, 30 k's an hour.
So obviously you've got food here, but is there any other special places that you like to go in town?
Food-wise, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an interesting character down here that does udon no fu. He's been here for about 35 years and he does the squid ink udon.
Okay, yeah.
Unreal. He's a go-to. And then up behind us, up this way, there's a yakitori place called Asagao. Really nice guys in there. They go snowboarding in the day and serve food and drink beers. Friend of mine, Joey's set himself up the road here. So he initially was in here for a season and he's bounced over to another location now and he's doing really well. He actually fixed one of my swallowtails the other day. Yeah, like properly fixed it. It fell off the wall.
Well, mate, it's a great vibe here at Full Circle, Myoko. We're loving our time here. Thank you for your time, mate.
Thanks for chatting with me, mate. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Thanks so much.
We took Ted's advice and went in search of the character, simply known as Joey.
Okay, I'm here with one of the local characters of town, Joey.
Pleasure.
How are
Thanks
you?
for having me. Great, thank you.
So, pretty cool little shop you've got here in the heart of Myoko. How did this all come about?
It's a great story, actually. So 4 years ago, I came here on a holiday
Yeah.
with the Australian company that I work for in Australia. And I decided to come snowboarding. I extended my trip for about 3 weeks. We were on a little tour. So we had about a group of 5 to 7 people we were looking after. And the nights after we were snowboarding and skiing, we were wandering the streets trying to find help. So they had problems with their boots or their skis or their board or whatever. So I found myself in the hotel room after making a trip to the hardware store, trying to fix everyone's stuff. So I realized that this was a pretty good opportunity for myself. So I came back that next winter and I was with Ted in Full Circle. And we had a nice little waxing station over there and helped people with their boots. And the last 2 years I've been in here. So just bigger space. We both needed a bit more space and to be able to help more people. It's pretty much the story, yeah.
Okay.
When I do have time, I go skiing and snowboarding, which is awesome. So we have a pretty good hour schedule here where we open from 7 to 10 in the morning for everyone to get their gear organized. And then we enjoy the slopes until about 3. And we reopen at 3 till 8 p.m. So that way everyone who's had problems throughout the day can come in, get everything sorted, leave it with us for the night to finish up and take care of, and then come get it in the morning. But why I love Myoko is really just everything, man. It's the people, they're very friendly, the food is incredible and it's cheap. The ski resorts are cheap. The vibe, it's just so high, man, and you're not filled with a whole bunch of people. It's still pretty mellow. So.
Wow, you mentioned food before. Is there any special place or is there an array of different food here in town?
Absolutely, yeah, we don't have enough time to go through all of them because there's so many good ones, but there's definitely some amazing cuisine. So there's a few that have been here since day dot, I would say.
Yeah.
Very traditional, very small, very Japanese, barely speak any English, which is amazing. And then there's been a few more Western ones that have popped up. Yeah, I'd say a couple of my favorites if you'd like to know. One of them is called Okonomiyaki. So the Okonomiyaki restaurant is very small. It's just up the road on the right past Joy Box. It fits about 10 people in there. When you go in, you have to sit down. And they cook it right in front of you. There's only 2 staff in there, sits maybe 10 people, and it's probably the best Japanese experience I've had in all of Japan. Yeah, it's really cool. It's nice. Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, thanks for having us here, my man.
My pleasure.
Good.
Yeah, let
Stay
us know
cool.
if you have any dramas. We'll help you figure it out.
All right, good stuff. So we've been having a look at the food scene here in Myoko. It's looking pretty good. I'm enjoying it. Now, going off Joey's recommendation, we headed over to the udon restaurant, but unfortunately it was closed for lunch. The guy must be up snowboarding or skiing, I think. So I left it in your capable hands to find something. John, what have you come up with?
Mate, I went for a bit of a wander and found this cool little bar called Yuroku, and it's a cozy little corner. And you know, we've got options of gyozas and chahan and ramen, also to grill as well. So we're going to give a few of these dishes a go, huh?
Yeah. Well, as always, you're the chef. I'm going to leave the ordering up to you. Let's get it.
Sure, let's do it.
Barbecue ramen, John.
That's right, mate.
The interesting thing about ramen in Japan is it's really affordable dish, and it's full of goodness and health.
That's right.
Healthy meal. You go meat first up. Oh, tender. Oishi, oishi. Once again, John, doesn't matter where you come here in Japan, fine dining, hole in the wall, little cozy place like this, the food's always great. Yeah, well, let's get on the road again.
Okay.
Although our time was short in Myoko Kogen, the enduring feeling was warmth and charm. This gem is one to rediscover in far greater depth.